Good afternoon, everyone. Chris Lee of Southeastern 16 here to react to Arkansas and Murray State in the NCAA tournament. And for full disclosure, we were planning to do this around 4. But if you're watching the game, let's just say something special is happening, potentially. Not as special as it was about maybe 3 or 4 minutes ago, but nonetheless pretty special, as Arkansas has a 3-0 lead over the Racers, who are averaging 10 runs in the tournament. Let's just say that Gage Wood has been unbelievable. 3 flyouts, 5 groundouts, 15 strikeouts account for, 23 of the 27 outs he's recorded so far as the Razorbacks try to stay alive in the NCAA tournament. Graham Doty will be joining me shortly. We got Pooh Bear in. We got Ben Hodge in. They're watching along with us. This is one of these performances that if you've been watching it, you will remember it for a long time. However it ends, you're going to remember us, I think, for a long, long time. Now, it's not over. It is baseball. Crazy stuff happens. And no, Sam, I did not end the perfect game. That ended just right before we came on. Gage Wood has just struck out his 16th guy. Leaves the mound with a ton of energy and is headed fired up to the dugout after he's given his team a 3-0 lead. Arkansas has 10 hits, Murray State. Let's just say check the box score for yourself, but if you've been watching, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, look, however this ends, this is going to be one of the more special games I think we've ever seen in the postseason. Probably the most one that comes to mind was Kumar Rocker in a super regional in 2019 when Vanderbilt was down 1-0 in the super to Duke. Hits the first batter of the game, comes back and throws 27 up, 27 down from there. Just an incredible performance. Rocker, I think, 19 strikeouts that day. And I mean, there are pitching performances that are special, and then there are pitching performances that are special when there's a lot on the line. And there could be no more on the line than we're watching for Arkansas today. This one's been tight all the way. Arkansas struggled a little bit early. Thought was going to get something going. Maybe the 3rd inning, had a couple guys on. Wehiwa Aloy hits a line drive that would have scored a run or two. It had been a little to one side or the other, but that didn't happen. Baseball happened. Ryder Helfrich struck out. Arkansas blew an opportunity to, I'm not going to say blow the game open, but put some space there. And so Gage Wood has been pitching all day without a lot of margin. And that happens sometimes in Omaha, especially this tournament. Holy Buckets, we got Jay Greason. How are you, sir?
I'm tremendous. I wish I had made as much money in my professional life as Gage Wood made today.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be a first round. The fastball today has been electric. He's been offsetting it with the breaking ball. I mean, I don't know what the metrics on that thing are, but Gage Wood has been incredible.
Just for everybody paying attention and playing along, everybody knows I do most of the cooking here at the Greason household. I'm stringing fresh beans because I'm making green beans. Well, I'm not making them till tomorrow because you got to soak them. But this has been unbelievable theater, is what this has been.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, his arsenal hadn't been all that much different than what we saw at the apex of what he was during the SEC season. His mound presence has been amazing.
Yeah.
And his embracing the moment. Remember, this is an elimination game. Mm-hmm. And they just spent not only their one, but their most talented reliever in the loss in game 1.
Yeah, and this is exactly why, Jay, I said I picked LSU to win game 1 and Arkansas to win the bracket. Now, did I lose some faith in that? Of course, after what you saw and after using Gackle that much. But this is also the reason I thought Arkansas had a chance to play through the losers bracket and still come out on top. Was what you're seeing today. This resets everything. This keeps your bullpen fresh. And look, it's not over. It's not. Crazy stuff can happen in baseball. And Gage Wood's got, Arkansas's got 2 more outs to try to get more offense. Gage Wood, frankly, looks like just put me out there. Just get your outs and put me back out on the mound right now. But this, to me, if he were to pull it off, very much resets the outlook for Arkansas in the tournament because you have saved so many arms. You can bring Root back again. Again, not over. Not over. A lot of baseball to go, but watching Gage Wood and the difficulty Murray State has had doing anything against him, I'm going to bet the Hogs are going to pull this off.
Hey, Graham, before you get into the Gage Wood love fest that we got going on, and understandably and deserved, if I put the 2 coolest dugout traditions, in my opinion, number 1 is the way everybody is treating him like he is COVID patient 1 in the dugout because he's got a no-hitter. I mean, they might as well put masks on. I mean, for God's sakes, the parents of Arkansas players aren't even talking to the Woods right now. Mm-mm. And number 2, I love the silent treatment when a guy hits like his first big league homer and everybody just acts like it's nothing. They don't even meet him at the dugout. They don't even, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Vote of confidence for our man Sam here, by the way.
Which one do you like more? Do you like the home run or the perfect game no hitter for the pitcher?
Well, I prefer the home run, but I respect the traditionalism of, and you may have been hustling around getting ready like I was. He lost the perfect game because he hit some dude in the foot with a curveball. And I actually think that's going to help him because it takes the pressure off of a perfect game, and he's not going to have to feel like he's going to be perfect. And he may have even ticked him off a little bit.
Was that in the 8th?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been on dad duty. I looked up and saw there's a runner on first for Murray. The other thing, he's got a camera right in his grill in the dugout. I feel like they're showing him every 30 seconds.
Yeah. There's not a teammate within a zip code of him.
The closest Arkansas athlete to him right now may be Corliss Williamson. Have I told you the story about how Big Nasty wanted to fight me at an Auburn game? Arkansas was number 2 in the country, and Auburn was terrible in their old arena. And we used to sit on the front row of the student section, which was right over there next to the bench. And this is going to shock absolutely nobody, but I kind of got renowned as a little bit of a heckler. And I got into Big Nasty's head, and that dude, and you want to talk about, he'd have made the tail whipping I took at the Whataburger look like a pat on the back. That dude was chiseled.
I bet. This is the Auburn days?
Yeah, that'd have been like 94, maybe 95, so right at the height of their powers.
Peak Arkansas basketball.
Yeah.
Do we not have a stat broadcast anywhere we can get for free? This sucks.
No, isn't it awful? The pass
Yes.
again, and it's going to be the most basic, simple pass. I don't know any media none of my friends are there where I can hit them up and be like, "Will you please text me the password?"
Sam, you are 100% right, and it would have caused the Greason family to disown me. But a Jay Greason reality show in college, it'd have been Redneck Jersey Shore is what it would have been.
Redneck Jersey Shore.
Quick reminder before
Jersey Shore, because they're rednecks too. They just have a different zip code.
Support our sponsors, GameTimeSidekicks.com, officially licensed stainless steel drinkware, all SEC schools, 350 other universities, double wall vacuum insulated, logo printing, product decoration done in Knoxville, top of the line logos and designs offered for each school, even the college vault line, stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. The 40-ounce bottle is my favorite. This will literally keep your ice solid for a good 12 hours.
You need to name that thing, Chris. You name that thing.
I will.
Ice Baby.
There we go.
Have you guys ever seen a no-hitter or perfect game in person?
Yeah,
I saw Randy Johnson at Turner Field.
I saw Randy Johnson at Minor League Park. So we both seen Randy Johnson throw no-hitters.
Dude was untouchable.
Wait, where in the minors, Chris?
I'll tell you in a minute. Just wanted to finish that off. SE16 for the discount code, 10% off to viewers. GameTimeSidekicks.com. What was the question? I'm sorry.
So you saw Randy Johnson in the minors. Where was that?
Yep. Nashville. I was a kid. Threw a 7-inning no-hitter for the Montreal. I guess they were with Jacksonville at the time. By the way, Gage Wood 0-2 on the first hitter and threw a ball. His 108th pitch was in there at 97.
Yeah, that's insane.
Dude, that's a great head of hair on the Murray State guy, Nico Bermio.
It is. He pinch hit a lot in the Oxford Regional. He didn't really start a lot.
He turned on that hanging breaking ball. All right, I've had the same haircut since like I was 20 years old, except for during the COVID years. And I'll have to find a picture because I grew out a Dusty Rhodes circa late 80s mullet, and it was glorious.
You just needed the polka dots.
Woo!
We're having a conference at the Mound. I think that's did he stick his elbow out? And I thought he might have. I think this is going to review, and it is.
By the way, did y'all see that graphic? It's been a minute since one of these has happened. 1960 was the last one. The first one was in 1950 against Tufts, which is in Boston.
Hey. That team would play you. That team would play you Tufts.
Hey, what do you think about this? Does that stay? Because he didn't really stick his elbow out. He moved it. He did kind of tuck it in. I don't know. I think that one might stand.
You know what I think about it? They need to outlaw those damn pads because those guys walk out there with more shielding than Maximus.
Hey. I need to let you guys take this one for a bit, okay?
Yep.
I think Chris has to go pick up.
He got to run a daddy show.
Yeah, he's got to put on his dad hat, which, trust me, I get.
We don't ever really take the dad hat off. He didn't lean in, but he didn't get out of the way. But he was happy for it to hit him in the pad.
So I got it on mute. I don't know what they just ruled.
Call on the field, hit by pitch. I may be behind you but
I think they're still looking at it.
I did say this before you joined us as you were doing dad stuff. I don't know if I've made as much money professionally in my life, Graham, as Gage Wood has made today.
You think so? Oh, they did overturn it, Jay.
Wow.
So he's coming back.
Here comes belt high heat, buddy. You best load up and get ready.
This is kind of ironic because the same thing happened in Murray State's favor in the Ole Miss regional.
Yeah.
In the final game against Ole Miss with Judd Utermark at the plate. So he got hit by a pitch. And he was awarded first base, and then they overturned it. So now the same thing happens to Murray State here.
And I mean, under that same logic, they could have said the same thing in the previous inning when because that guy didn't get out of the way either. He just let it hit him in the foot. Now it was a backdoor breaking ball, but hey, if I'm Murray State's coach right here, I get tossed.
Would you really? And potentially his last game as the head coach there?
Go out there and have kittens. See, I mean, it ain't like you've had a whole lot of success against Gage Wood to begin with. Do something that's going to motivate. I mean, how many times have you clapped your hands and you still don't have a hit?
Yeah.
But maybe that's not his MO. I don't know. But
yeah, I'd be kind of surprised if he gets tossed. Like again, I've had, I don't know, 5 or 6 of his games over the years. He doesn't strike me as that kind of personality. I got a 1-1 count. Am I ahead of you? Or behind you?
I don't see the count. Oh yeah, you are ahead of me. You keep carrying people through this, and I'll react. But so do they call him out?
I guess so. Again, I got it on mute. I don't know what the call. I think it was a 3-2 count. So I don't know what that call is in that situation. I just thought and assumed you just redid it.
I mean, what in the Ole Miss game didn't that guy's?
He Udemark he went back in the box and then he struck out. Speaking of which, another punch out for Wood. He's now up to 17.
That means he's 1 away from the College World Series record.
Yeah.
Because I think they said 18 was the record.
I think he's got the Arkansas record too.
Ooh, that is, I mean, that's flat cheese on 114. And I know I'm behind you, but that was 96 to get to 2-2. And you've already said this guy strikes out. So
yeah, he's still high 90s. Velocity's not an issue.
Dude is jacked right now.
He's dialed in too.
It's hard to believe that they're in the losers bracket with what's going to be the 16 innings we've seen pitched from Gackle and Wood.
Right. They're like, what, 26 strikeouts between the two of them, something like that?
That sounds right. Man, oh man. Impressive stuff. And it also, now he's spent to get through this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's spent on this side of the bracket.
All right, it's a 1-2 count.
You think that's the first time that guy wore that helmet? I'm betting no. His dad wearing that batting helmet that looks like it's circa 19 that Dave King wore when he was playing for Arkansas
in the 60s and 70s.
Got you.
Oh man, that's incredible. So first no-hitter since 1960 when whoever the pitcher for Oklahoma State was. So boy, how about that? This game was the polar opposite of what I thought. I thought this was going to be a shootout. And then he just no-hits them.
Wow. That's really cool. That's really cool. I'm glad I was watching that, to be honest with you, Graham.
Yeah. Congratulations to Mr. Wood and Arkansas. And we're getting a lot of shots of Murray State right now. I know they're sad and disappointed. They got absolutely nothing to hang their head about.
Completely agree. Completely agree. There's a fair chance that Arkansas has spent more in nil money on Gage Wood and Gackle than Murray State spends on baseball total.
Well, yeah, like we know they make more than the head coach does.
True that.
I mean, he's around the 80,000 mark, which good.
For the hey,
Yeah, it's a
for
good.
the next 48 hours.
Yeah, it's a good week to be his agent. Business is about to pick up.
I hope his cell phone's charged.
So if you're wondering about that, like to my knowledge, the only Power 4 job open is the Duke job. Unless I'm just can't remember one.
If I'm the Duke AD, it's my first call.
Yeah. And I know he's got zero ties to that part of the country, but so what? Who else are you going to get?
Well, I mean, he's closer to Duke from Walter State than he is to Murray State.
Yeah. They're interviewing Wood now. He looks like he's barely sweat or done anything.
That's fun to watch. It's also fun to watch. You know what? I appreciate getting to Omaha, and these kids are talking about the name on the front of the shirt as opposed to somebody else's name on the back of their shirt.
Yeah. Well, that's rare nowadays. 19 strikeouts. Good Lord.
He got to 19?
Yeah, he finished with 19.
That's the all-time record, I think, then.
I'm sure they'll flash the graphic up at some point.
Is that the single? That's got to be in no walks?
Yeah, no walks.
That's the single best pitching performance in the history of college basketball or college baseball.
It's got to be up there. You remember what Kumar did not that long ago for Vandy?
I do, but it wasn't that.
I mean, it was a perfect game in the Supers.
He's in Omaha with 19-0.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's impressive. So what? The only base runner he gave up was was
a backdoor breaking ball to a left-handed hitter that hit him on top of the foot.
You're still interviewing him. This is the longest interview ever.
Honestly, it looked like he just did his taxes. He's not even sweating that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, his hair looks pretty doggone good. I'm a bad one to judge that, though. Y'all seen my hair.
Janine says, I don't like the Hogs. I mean, I picked the Hogs to make it as far as possible on this side of the bracket. So whoever wins between Arkansas and LSU is going to win the whole thing. That's how I feel about it.
I'm starting to believe a whole bunch of our chatters here that I think Coastal's going to give every single one of them a fit.
Yeah, Coastal, again, 25 wins in a row.
Man,
I think yeah, they're on fire on that side of the bracket. Like I feel really confident that Coastal's going to play for the national championship.
All right, I'm in head to head now. I'm ready to engage. I've stringed all my beans.
So what's the game plan for dinner? What I'm assuming that's what this is for, right? Like
no, you got to soak these 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah, in a mix of water and vinegar and some seasonings that I do that I'll share at some other point. Tonight will be stewed squash, baked potatoes, sauteed mushrooms, and a flank steak that if I need to share my marinade on the flank steak, is pretty damn good.
Sounds like it. Donkey Bud, who's been active in our chat lately, we appreciate you as always. He said Arkansas has only used 4 pitchers so far in the World Series. 4.
LA Mom, that's funny. If you get to Chattanooga by 6:30 or 7, that's what time the food's on the table. Hey, the important thing about doing flank steak, one, your grill's got to be as hot as you can get it, because it only needs like 3 to 5 minutes on each side. And after you pull it out of the marinade, coat each side with a healthy amount of salt and pepper, because it not only does it add to flavor, it crusts. So you get like a prime rib taste to a really good piece of meat that is way more affordable than getting prime rib.
And if anybody doesn't know, Jay cooks, right? You cook every meal in the house?
Yes. Yeah, I did chocolate chip pancakes, breakfast sandwiches, and a bowl of cereal for my son, because he does not really have the palate to expand to my culinary wishes.
He'll grow out of that.
Yeah, he will.
I was in that phase. I didn't understand it until when I got a little bit older. Like, my mom would spend all this like time, energy, and effort making a beautiful meal, and I wouldn't eat like a portion of it. She'd be so pissed. I'm trying to look up when Arkansas plays next. I don't know if they play tomorrow or in
I think
2
tomorrow's
days.
all the loser brackets game.
Okay.
So I think they're going to get the loser of LSU of tonight's game, and I think the losers of the other game, which goes to your original point, and I'll answer you guys cooking questions here in a second, but goes to your original point. You win in the first one. Not only are you in the driver's seat just fundamentally in how the brackets are drawn, you now get opportunities to rest beyond what somebody else does. And we'll save this for Chris and his analytics and his numbers. But I think Gage Wood has to go tomorrow if they do play tomorrow. Because remember, we talked about tomorrow could be rain.
Not Wood. You mean Root?
No, I mean I am Root.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody mentioned that in the chat earlier. Like the good news and bright side of, if you want to look at it, in the first game for the Hogs, Root, I think he was at like 37, 38 pitches, something like that. So if you do want to use him tomorrow, you can. So Tad, I don't have my glasses on. I think that's...
Yeah, Tad said it's 6 p.m. They get the loser of UCLA.
Okay, LSU. So that makes sense.
Huge win for Arkansas. Huge win.
Yeah.
And Gage Wood just redirected the press conference, because if this had turned a different way, this is entirely about Dave Van Horn. And now all day today is about hitting the reset button. Arkansas pitchers get to rest.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to feel a surge of momentum. I mean, seriously, Gage Wood, since Scotty Thurman hitting the shot, is... I mean, I hate to go back to those mid-'90s. Well, I take that back. That's not the best Arkansas. Darren McFadden is probably the most underrated SEC football player that I can use in a sentence. That dude was a mother.
Back-to-back runner-up finishes for the Heisman. Yeah, he was a different animal, without a doubt, in his heyday. I always think about that LSU game, the last game of the regular season, and him just saying, "Bring the wood," like his arm around the neck of Houston Nutt, that crazy overtime game.
That I can remember where I was watching that game. I mean, that guy, man, that guy, dude, that guy, and that backfield, man, Felix Jones, Darren McFadden, and Peyton Hillis.
Yeah, one of the best. But yeah, you may be right. Again, I know he didn't win, but Connor Nolan in 2022 for Arkansas against Ole Miss. Like he was incredible. That was that game that Dylan DeLucia and Connor Nolan, they were just dealing, and that game took like 2 hours and 2 minutes. I mean, Connor Nolan, people are going to forget that one, but he was lights out. But what Wood did today by far is going to be one of these performances that Hog fans are going to be talking about for a long time, especially depending on what happens the rest of the way for them.
I think this is a all-time moment for Arkansas baseball, truly. And they may not go on to win it, but you want to talk – I mean, you mentioned the Murray State. We had a conversation earlier this week that we thought Murray State was going to go 2 and out, and they did. But 20 years from now, if Murray State, when they bring them back to the ballpark and they all tip their caps, everybody's going to say, hey, this is the one team that got the College World Series. God bless them. We love them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Arkansas wins this. I hate to be Debbie Downer. They're just in a really big hole right now. They still can, but I don't think they will. But when they bring this team back in 10 years and celebrate a College World Series trip at halftime of an Arkansas Ole Miss football game, Gage Wood now gets the biggest reaction.
Yeah.
Even over SEC and potentially National Player of the Year, who's his pants Aloy.
Yeah. Congrats to him. Tanner says he's from Batesville, Arkansas. I'm pretty sure Charlie Strong is from Batesville, Arkansas, too. All right, chat. What do you guys want us to touch on? Jay's cooking ability, the LSU game tonight. I feel like we got a lot of Hog fans in here that want to talk about Arkansas. So whatever you guys want us to
George
touch on,
Morgan,
we'll do it.
I think, goes to the next talking point. Because I agree, and it's the one that's at the bottom. Yeah, I think Zach Root has now got a chance to certify himself in the top half of round 1. Another bad outing. Do question marks loom? Is that pressure a bad thing? I mean, I don't know. It's how people react to it.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm sure. So what they got around 24 hours or so until their next game. And I'm sure Dave Van Horn is about to talk to the media here in the next few minutes. He's going to get asked about it. So Root may very well be on the table. Again, 37, 38 pitches their first game. Well, that was a couple of days ago. So I'm pretty sure he can handle that mentally. Short turnaround, under 40 pitches, season on the line. I don't really think it matters who they get matched up with.
I don't either. And if you get through that one, and especially if you can get a little rain, then Gackle, I mean, you know this as well as I do. There's a fine line between the regular season and even on the weekend balance of protecting these kids' arms. And I'll bet you $1 to a donut, Gackle has already told his pitching coach, I can be ready tomorrow if you need me.
Yeah.
I can pitch an inning tomorrow if you need it.
Well, let's break down that potential matchup, I guess. Let's say it's Arkansas and UCLA. I didn't watch UCLA a single pitch in the regular season. I'm taking the Hogs in that matchup no matter what against UCLA. Now, if it's LSU for the 5th time this season, that makes it more interesting because I don't know what LSU is going to do.
And not only do you not know what LSU is going to do, do you want to throw Wood, or I'm sorry, not Wood, I am Root against a team that just scored 3 runs before he got 4 outs against them.
Yeah.
And they've now beaten him twice. Now, granted, it was both with Anderson on the mound, and Anderson's not going to pitch tomorrow.
Well, we know LSU is going to go with their other arm, Ianson. Like he's going tonight.
Right.
So their top two arms are going to be off the table. If they lose this game and got to play Arkansas again.
The B Mob in the chat said LSU can't beat Arkansas without Cade. Thoughts?
Well, remember that. So that would be the 5th meeting this season between these two teams. They played, I think it was in Baton Rouge in the regular season. I mean, I picked LSU to win the whole thing mainly because of their pitching. Now I trust Arkansas's offense more than LSU's.
La Mom 2020, I agree with you. Ianson's filthy. But Ianson's going today. And you don't need, because though he's not going tomorrow, even if you lose.
Yeah. We got some LSU fans in the chat now. Like, we're talking about if LSU was able, or if LSU dropped this game tonight, and then you got to turn around and play Arkansas again, like, what would the pitching matchup look like?
And those questions, I mean, they're pertinent. And there are a lot of folks who are echoing what Chris said when we had this conversation this morning, that McIntyre could really be a meaningful piece to eat some innings and deliver that soft serve. Hey, when you go to soft serve, like at a Ryan's or a Western Sizzling, do you go vanilla, chocolate, or do you swirl?
Chocolate all day, every day.
See, I'm 100% vanilla on the soft serve.
Why? What is it about
what
vanilla?
What do you mean why? I didn't ask you why. I let you speak your piece. You don't have to. See, that's where we are. You can't get by with just giving your opinion. You've got to convince me my opinion's wrong.
No, I didn't say it was wrong. Like, look, they're both good. I'm gonna eat either one of them. But if I got to pick between vanilla and chocolate, I'm going chocolate every single time.
See, because I like adding the toppings to vanilla. Chocolate, like chocolate sauce and the sprinkles and whatever else you're going to add on chocolate, almost gets me too sweet. If I want vanilla, then I have the flexibility.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm looking up the pitching matchups from games 2 and game 3 in the regular season between these two teams. So again, they played in Baton Rouge May 9th through the 11th. LSU took 2 out of 3. So game 2, that was Ianson. We saw it in the chat. Ianson was really good against Arkansas. 6 innings, struck out 11, walked 1. But again, he's not going to pitch if LSU loses tonight. Wood started that game against Ianson. Wood went 2 innings, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits. Now, game 3, this is interesting. Evans got the start for LSU. That was in the only loss in the regular season for LSU against Arkansas. Evans went 3 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs. And then Beidelshees got the start for Arkansas on that one. Struck out 4, but gave up 3 runs. So I feel like it's been a lifetime since Beidelshees has been on the mound in a big spot for Arkansas. But that's at least what they did in the regular season.
That's a name that's going to, if Arkansas is going to make it all the way back and get to the title series, Beidelshees is going to have to be a meaningful piece.
And yes, Arthur, yes, I have a 5-month-old who's downstairs right now, and she sounds like she's not too happy. So that's, if you hear that, that's what that is.
And Arthur, I have 2. I have a 17-year-old and a just turned 15-year-old daughter. So, yeah. And I got 2 dogs, including Bo Jackson, who's snoring in the other room.
Yeah, we both have dogs. My dog is not anywhere. I think he's outside right now.
Hey, Luke's got a great point right here, and I think this is completely fair near the bottom of the chat. He says, Arkansas guy here, I'm concerned about the offensive performances here in the College World Series. Hey, if we'd started this, if we had talked about it and we did in the morning previewing this game, if you told me Arkansas was only going to get 3 runs, I said they could be in trouble.
Yeah.
But they got an all-time pitching performance from Gage Wood.
They did. So I'm looking it up. Arkansas 1 run in their first game against LSU. That was 2 days ago, and then a 3 spot today. So, I mean, yeah, I can see why you maybe would be a little bit nervous, but I still think they got the best offense of any team remaining in Omaha.
Thank you, Lee. I don't. You're not going to get past the Mrs. Greason about wallpaper. That's just not going to happen. I could probably do a little bit better job on setting up lighting on where the various studios I perform in, but there will be no wallpaper on the wall.
Well, you also got the window behind you, and you get that natural light.
Well, and I could spin it around. You can see our swimming pool. But then I get in there next to Bo, and he's all snoring.
So do you call him Bo, or do you call him Bo Jackson?
I call him Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. Yeah, Arthur, you're right. Arkansas defense has never slumped. I mean, their defense was really, really good today. Again, they got throughout the regular season, they were either number 1 or number 2 defensively. It was Arkansas and Vandy. They were kind of flip-flopping back and forth between the top defense. They want to know, do we think Arkansas gets redemption against LSU?
Well, I think if they're going to need to do it, it's going to be in multiple days, because I think LSU, Ianson is a filthy beast. And I don't think LSU has seen that. And I know they got maybe the best player in the country, and that's great. And Chris isn't here to pronounce his name. But they're going to have to see Arkansas. They're going to have to see LSU and beat them twice. Somebody threw out, and I think this is pretty well said. I forget who it was. It's now, we've got a bunch of chats flowing in, and we appreciate that. And make certain you guys check out Game Time Sidekicks. They got great stuff. Seriously. I mean, and I'm not just saying that because they pay the site. I'm saying it because it's good stuff. But I'll be shocked if this is not the moment of the College World Series. Yeah, we're going to see the highlights of everybody celebrating, and that's going to be awesome. And whatever team wins it, Game Time Sidekicks will print you a national championship cup. That could very well be the single best performance in the hit. That's going to be on every highlight film, like the Miami Ghost pickoff play from '83.
Right. Against Wichita.
This is going to be in every lead-in. This is like Leitner's shot, if we're being honest about it. It's that type of seminal moment when you talk about college sports at the championship level.
Yeah, it really is. And again, first no-hitter since 1960. Think about that. 1960. You're going to see that replay of that final strikeout of Wood like over and over and over again. If you're an Arkansas fan, like, just enjoy this one for the time being. I mean, you got 24 hours or so until your next game. Hey, one game at a time. Enjoy this. Have fun tonight. Watch the nightcap. Figure out who you're going to play between LSU and UCLA. So, yeah, and Donkey Bud, you're right. Extremely close to a perfect game. I'm assuming it would have been the first perfect game in Omaha history.
Yes. The previous no-hitters were just no-hitters. They had said there's never been a perfect game.
Yeah. And again, no hitters were in 1950 against Tufts. I don't even know if Tufts still plays baseball. I know they're not Division One.
Well, and
And
they were swinging with Hickory. I mean,
yeah. It was a Texas pitcher was the one in 1950, and then an Oklahoma State pitcher in 1960. But this is exactly what you wanted if you're Arkansas. And again, somebody said it. Forgive me, I forget, but they said it in the chat earlier. Arkansas has only used 4 total pitchers, so they are in phenomenal shape moving forward. Now, the tricky part for them is if they keep winning, they got a bunch of games in consecutive days. Luke wants to know the updated betting odds, Jay.
I saw it and I'm looking at it now.
Would it update that quickly?
Yeah, no, it updates live because you can bet it at any point in time. LSU's a plus 165 favorite to win the whole thing. Coastal is next, which tells me there's been a whole lot of money put on Coastal, including smart money and what a lot of people in the gambling community call sharp money. At plus 175. And then Arkansas is third.
Okay.
At plus 500.
So
which
Coastal
means bet 100 to win 500.
So Coastal is probably second because they're on the other side of the bracket and they're undefeated as well.
And just a smidge, I mean, a fraction behind LSU.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty telling by today's performance and the metrics that Arkansas is a much sizable favorite than UCLA, and UCLA has not lost yet.
Yeah. Yeah, they're undefeated in all postseason play. Regional,
UCLA
super
is
regionals.
plus 650, Graham, in case you were wondering.
That's not that awful of a bet. Just going back on recent history and performances in Omaha, we've seen a lot of guys excel in Omaha and then make it to the big leagues almost immediately. Like it starts with Paul Skeens and what he was able to do, winning a natty with LSU. And then less than a year later, he starts the All-Star game as a rookie. And then last year, Christian Moore for Tennessee hits for the second cycle ever. And then he got called up last week to the Angels. So, I mean, I guess that's good news for Gage Wood.
Well, and SEMO last year for the Vols did it on the way to a natty. I mean,
yeah.
And that matters because it also matters in the conversation of when we talk about Leitner. Leitner hit the unbelievable shot and had the 10 of 10 game from the field and 10 of 10 game from the line and the chest stomp and all the drama that went around it.
Yeah.
But they did it on the way to natty. So, but if this becomes a springboard for Arkansas,
watch out.
I think it's better than SEMO's performance last year. And Greg, I appreciate it. No, don't get me wrong. Christian Moore was amazing and hitting for the cycle, the only second time in College World Series history, as you say. But I don't know what the quote unquote, it's crazy to talk about the modern era of baseball because like in professional baseball, the modern era started in like 1910. So, I mean, modern is a realm of different conversation. But hitting for the cycle is one thing. What Gage Wood did today was I hadn't seen anything like it.
Yeah. See, Greg, he just puts in the chat, I'm going to politely disagree with you here. He said if Arkansas doesn't win at all, then it won't matter as much for Gage Wood. I mean, he did it in an elimination game. They had to have it. He does that. And so he did it in a win. It's still like he literally made history. So I still think it's a big deal.
And I remember Christian Moore's cycle last year. I don't remember the score. And if that's like saying Flipper Anderson catching 370 yards for the Rams with Jim Everett is the greatest performance. No, pitchers are more important than position players. I mean, that's just how this game is crafted.
Mm-hmm.
And he took the ball and gave his entire bullpen the night off.
Yeah.
When you had to have that as much as you had to have a win.
He clarifies. He says his point is that Gage Wood would trade that performance for a national championship in a heartbeat.
And I think we all agree with that.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, he totally would.
And I mean, he'd have given up 5 hits and 2 runs and turned it over to the bullpen if it meant a national championship. 100%. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
But this, honestly, this is if they do win it, and that's a big if. This is not only Leitner, this is like Vince Young against USC level huge.
Yeah.
And I know it wasn't in the title game. I really do. I get it. I get all of that. But this now changes the prism through which Arkansas can view everything they may want to do.
Yeah. Because you're gonna have your bullpen is gonna be pretty like everybody in the bullpen except for maybe Gackle is gonna
maybe
be available. Yeah.
And Gage Wood needs to show up in street clothes tomorrow. And I hope he dresses like a pimp. I'm talking about zoot suit, the big hat with the feather that Navin R. Johnson wore in the jerk. I'm talking about the whole kit and caboodle. I mean, I hope he walks in there with like a Steve Harvey type of strut. And I mean, and he sits over there next to Van Horn in like a 3-piece.
Mm-hmm. And 95-degree heat. The Donkey Bud says, we touched on this earlier a little bit, but Gage Wood shooting up the draft boards after this performance. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure his agent, whoever represents him, is a very happy person right now.
Yeah, the 2 happiest agents in college baseball as of this morning are whoever represents Gage Wood and whoever represents the Murray State coach.
Correct. Absolutely. And
Because
Droopy Doobie, that's a good call. Like Pinky from Friday the movie.
Just showing up. Just showing up. You got knocked out. Bye, Felicia.
Mm-hmm. Greg said, how many years in the future before everybody looks back and says, oh, it was against a 4-seed Cinderella? I'm kidding, kinda. I mean, Murray State was red hot, guys. Like, they were on fire at the plate. That was not your typical 4-seed, in my opinion.
And go a step further. If he'd thrown a shutout, then maybe, Greg, we're having the conversation about, okay, he threw it against Murray State, who was the 4th 4-seed since 1999 to get in the tournament. He threw a no-hitter. You'd have a hard time throwing a no-hitter in an inter-squad scrimmage against the JV.
Chris,
next time Gage Wood throws a no-hitter, I wish he'd give me a little more heads up.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Poorly planned afternoon.
Well, you look up and it's like,
would have known.
It's like, geez, this game is in the 7th inning already. Like, what's going on? And then you look up and it's like, okay, one pitcher is out of his mind right now.
I had a son to pick up, and I forgot I'd scheduled a radio spot too. So anyway,
I want to talk. Hey, Donkey Bud, that's a great point, and mainly all fastballs. And I'll tell you this as somebody who calls pitches at a much smaller level. I think it is unbelievably important to not get Phil Mickelson in that decision-making process where you get too cute by half. If you got a guy throwing 97 in innings 6, 7, 8, and 9, don't speed somebody's bat up.
Yeah.
Don't make them a better hitter, but by trying to get cute. I talked to a PGA Tour professional one time and said Mickelson would have won 5 more majors, but he was too cute by half. And that quote has resonated with me about so many things in sports.
Mm-hmm.
So many things about guys who would rather make certain their sweatband on their calf is perfect. You worry about being too cute by half, and you are taking away from what you do great. That dude was pumping 97 in inning 9, and they could not touch him.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Mariano Rivera for the Yankees. That man had one pitch and made a career, a cutter. He threw a cutter and was the best to ever do it.
You guys, well, right before I got scattered and had to leave, we were talking no-hitters we'd seen in person. I've seen 2. I saw Randy Johnson throw one in the minors when I was a kid, and I saw the other one was Kumar Rocker against Duke in the 2019 Supers. And the parallels to that were unbelievably similar. Both of them struck out 19, and both of them did that primarily with one pitch. I think all of Rocker's were on his slider, and I don't know what the number of Gage Woods were on his fastball, but it was a high number. Most of them.
I brought that game up, Chris. So since you saw Kumar in person, which do you think is more impressive, the Kumar game or what Wood did today?
Well, I think this one, because it was one stage further, but both of them were down 1-0 in the series. Although Arkansas has got to do more now. Vanderbilt had gotten beat the night before and gotten just drilled. It was like 19-8 or something like that.
Mm.
And so both of them, it was for the season. Rocker hit the first kid of the game in the face. And like the whole ballpark came to a dead silence for several minutes. And we're like, we're hoping this guy's alive. And I think everybody in the place was shaking a little bit. And he ended up being okay, fortunately. But like you wonder about the toll that's going to take on a pitcher. And then he got the next 27 out. And Woods was a little different. His blemish came at the end, and there was almost a second one later on the hit by pitch, which I don't know how to feel about that. I haven't watched it live. You heard my reaction then. So I mean, they were very similar. I think recovering from that, your first hit batter, which was he did that too. That was part of his game. But that was a dynamic to it that was unique. But I think anytime you do it in the College World Series, where it's not been done since 1960, at a place where Arkansas has got all that history that it gets reminded of, I think that one takes the cake. I think that might be the best single game performance in the history of the NCAA tournament.
Pitching wise, Jay and I were touching on this. The chat gave their input. Want to get your thoughts as well. What do you think Arkansas is going to do tomorrow on 2 different occasions? One, if it's Arkansas versus UCLA, I'm taking the Hogs. If it's Arkansas versus LSU, what do you think that pitching matchup will be for both teams, meeting for the 5th time? I think Root is on the table.
You know what? I think he is too. And here's what I'm thinking. If I'm Arkansas, I'm rooting like crazy for UCLA tonight. Because I think what happens is if you beat UCLA, then LSU flips it over, and you might see Kate Anderson again on Thursday.
Do you really?
Or you could see, well, I don't know. Let's see. Here's let me walk through the schedule, and I'll kind of think it through in my head. Okay, LSU and UCLA tonight, and I think I didn't check, but I cannot imagine that LSU is not going to go Anthony Ianson. So then the winner goes Wednesday. The loser goes tomorrow night. Honest to God, I wonder if Arkansas throws Will McIntyre. I don't know if he played in that LSU series. I'll have to look that one up.
Hold on, I got it right here.
just because he's a guy that has shown he can go lengthy spells in an NCAA tournament before. That might have been a couple of years ago.
He did not pitch in games 2 or game 3.
Yeah. To me, he feels like a guy that can handle the stage. I know that he's not the favorite of the Arkansas crowd, but he is hands down giving up the fewest base runners of anybody on that staff. So I don't know. And here's what I'm thinking. If you're Arkansas, let's say Einson goes tonight and they have to use Case and Evans in a tight game, then what do you do if you're LSU tomorrow? I mean, do you maybe give Chase Shores the ball? If I'm Arkansas, the last thing I want to do is see Anderson or Einson in an elimination game in the next couple of days. So I'm thinking like if LSU loses tonight, which I don't think it will, but I'm just thinking out all the particular options, then that would be very interesting on both parts.
I think it's safe to say Einson is, if LSU loses, there's no way in the world he's pitching tomorrow. So you can take him
right
off the table. It's just if LSU loses, and I don't think that they are going to lose, it will be fascinating to see what they decide to do. So you mentioned Shores. Let me pull up Shores.
Shores threw, I think, 13 pitches last night. And again, I wonder about Cowan's health. And people in chat say McIntyre hasn't pitched in a month. And I know they won't throw Einson tomorrow unless it's one of those things where he throws 10 pitches and doesn't have it. But in that case, he's probably hurt. So
Shores, he has not started since April 13th at Auburn.
Okay. I mean, Evans is another option as a starter for them if he doesn't get burned in relief. So probably just depends on, like, if Jay Johnson's got an 8-2 lead in the 8th, they're not going to Evans.
Yeah.
You know, now if it's 3-2 in the 8th, then they're absolutely going to Evans, I would have to think.
Yeah. I can see that for sure. And again, Cowan, I feel like we keep harping on it, but it feels like a lifetime since has pitched in a big spot.
Yeah, and the last two appearances have been so opposite from what he's done, and him not throwing lately just makes me wonder about the health. I don't know if that's been addressed. Let me see who else who's got, because I know they got all kinds of talent, right? I'm thinking for Arkansas, somebody mentioned Jimenez as an option. I thought he was hurt. I thought he got removed from that Saturday game in the regional and hasn't pitched since. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I mean, they could go. I don't think Dylan Carter's thrown yet. I don't think Bibby's thrown since the regional. Like Arkansas, Vital Shees is an option for them for sure.
Chad said it was a cramp.
Oh, it was a cramp?
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about Jimenez?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a guy that they have used in that spot. He's been more effective, I feel like, as a setup man.
Yeah. I looked it up. He went an inning and a third in the regular season against LSU.
Okay, so he would absolutely be an option. My guess is that would be their option. I would like to know what's up with Vital Shees and why he hasn't thrown lately. Dylan Carter would be an option, as it's been mentioned in the chat. Yeah. I think for LSU, and again, we are. This is just a thought exercise for the sake of, let's say LSU wins tonight, or let's say LSU loses tonight, which I don't think it will. Well, either way, they've got to have an up next. I mean, Jaden Newt would be an option. I don't know if they give Smith the ball in that situation.
That's a big
spot. He's still
spot.
Young and wild. Yeah,
he's a big spot.
Of all their main, I mean, Cooper Williams maybe would be an option. Jacob Mayers has thrown a lot of ball, not a lot this year. I mean, I think both teams have a lot of options. I'm not sure what the right call for either would be.
Yeah. By the way, Chris, when you were out, Jay looked up the odds, and Jay's back, by the way.
Okay.
The favorite is still LSU, and then Coastal is the second favorite, according to Vegas.
How did the odds flip on Arkansas after today?
They're third.
But
They got
what are the odds? What's the
They're
number?
plus 500.
Okay. Ooh, mean that feels very doable. Again, it wasn't just winning the game today. It was winning the game, and like you have got so many arms left at this point.
Yeah. From an LSU point of view, here's a good question from Luke in the chat. How concerned should LSU be with the middle of the order, in particular the guys like Fry and Bear Jones? I would be more worried about Bear Jones because this is kind of what he's been like all season. To me, I think Fry, I think he's due. I mean, I really do believe that. So I think the baseball gods are going to be like on his side. So if between those two, if one of them has a breakout party, I would pick Fry.
Jay Greason, that was your cue.
But I'm happy to pick Fry. I mean, Fry's a dude that's going to be – he's going to be a top 20 pick.
I don't know if he's going to go that high, but he has upped his draft stock with the way he's hit lately.
Well, it is a debate about numbers, and then it's also a debate about a guy who's 6'6" and runs like that. And MLB scouts will tell you 1,000 times, give me the tools and I'll teach him the rest of it.
Is he that tall?
Which one? Fry?
Ethan Fry?
Hold on, I'll look it up.
Are we thinking about
Am I thinking about the other dude?
Fry is 6'6". Yeah, were you talking hitters or pitchers?
Hitters.
Yeah.
I
Okay, Ethan Fry is that. I didn't know Ethan Fry was that big.
In the middle of the order conversation about LSU.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize Ethan Fry was that big. I mean, he has
can run.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, so much of what you're. Yeah, I mean, nobody's hitters look good when those two teams met, but look who was on the hill. But I mean, I think for Jones, he didn't play well in SEC play. Didn't look great the other night. Fry was a guy that carried him for a lot of the regional and the super. I mean, the thing is, Milam I feel like is hit pretty well. Stanfield's hit a little bit, which is not a guy we talk about a lot. His skills play, I think, okay to that park. Jake Brown could be a guy for them with the speed.
Stanfield him in the 9th spot is really, really good. Like at Auburn, he was towards the top of the order. Like I think he spent a lot of time in the leadoff spot, but for LSU to have him hitting 9th, I mean, he's quite the weapon.
Yeah. Their weakness right now is what they do at third because they're not getting much offense out of that spot.
Yeah.
I mean, and Braswell's played a lot of ball, and he's a pretty good glove, but he's not hit anything since his freshman season.
What did you think of what Mark asked in the chat? What did you think of the overturned hit by the pitch for the Murray State hitter? That was on the field and hit by a pitch, and then they reviewed it, and it was overturned to a strikeout.
Well, I think that's the rule, wasn't it? Like if you do that, it's a strike, and that happened to be strike 3. I thought that they probably should have. I mean, it did look like he moved his elbow, but I don't know that he moved his elbow into the pitch. I mean, he certainly wasn't trying to get out of the way of it, but he also didn't stick it out towards the plate. He stuck it out more towards the mound. It was a weird-looking play.
It was, and I don't think you were on at that point. But it's kind of ironic that it involved Murray State because that happened in the Murray State Ole Miss game in the 8th inning with Judd Utermark. He was hit by a pitch and was awarded first base, and that got overturned.
Yep.
And Murray State ended up holding on to win.
That was the biggest moment of the game because Ole Miss was down 8 or 9 runs and really was making a go at it, and that was probably the biggest play of the regional.
Yeah, it was. Jay Brisket, I'm gonna be honest, it's not my number one.
Oh, I love it.
I'll eat it. Like, I'm not gonna say no, but I just think there's way better options than brisket.
It's my favorite one to cook because I do it so well.
You're not like Lincoln Riley, who did his really well done. Did you see Lincoln Riley's picture?
Dude, if you're not knocking the horns off of it and wiping its nasty little ass, then you're doing red meat wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, a big part of grilling red meat is after you take it off the grill, undercook it on the grill, wrap it in aluminum foil, and let the heat cook it through. And that way it cooks itself, and you're never going to overcook it.
Yeah.
What temp do you take it off at?
10.
You don't have
if you're a grill dude
thermometer?
Putting a thermometer into something, hey, the line from City Slickers when they were asking the two ice cream guys about when they said they could put any meal you could offer, they could put ice cream that's perfectly matched. And Billy Crystal goes, Franks and Beans, and they go, scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla, don't waste my time. If you're still having to gauge the temperature, brother, you haven't been doing this long enough.
I shall now disqualify myself from the conversation. Carry on.
Chris is gonna burn his thermometer when we wrap up. He's gonna toss it in the garbage.
Donkey.
I'm a big fan of not getting salmonella or something like that.
Whenever I can find Wagyu brisket, whoo! Everybody's going to need to come to my house. It's a long drive from wherever you are to Chattanooga, but we'll make you a plate to go.
Luke
Southeastern 16 retreat at Jay's house. How about that?
Yeah, deep in the woods in Chattanooga.
Or no, on top of the hill in Chattanooga.
On Signal Mountain.
Yep.
Luke, I think that your question, I would love to dive into it. That might be a separate podcast. I feel like we could talk for hours on that.
Yeah, there's going to be, I think, some of that in the near future. Just not today.
All right.
Because today was about Gage Wood in Arkansas.
We've gone north of the requested 60-minute time for analytics and all that other good stuff. Although it's been great. We've all been rotating around Graham and his forever solidity. But what do we think happens tonight?
LSU.
Between LSU and UCLA, give me the Tigers.
Me too. Let me get you the odds.
Do we have a box score from this thing yet?
ESPN has it.
Okay.
Very similar from this morning. Pardon me. LSU minus 2.5 is even money by all accounts, and the over/under is still 9.5.
Man, that just seems like such a big line. We got asked who's UCLA throwing. Stump. They're starting Stump tonight. Was that the best pitching performance we've seen in the Men's College World Series? I mean,
probably yes.
I mean, who else is in the conversation? Like, since his recent history for me, like what Dylan DeLucia did against Arkansas, complete game shutout. But like
that was up there. But he didn't have a high strikeout total.
It was like 7 or 8, but like what Wood did today is on a different level. Like that's a different.
The one I'm thinking of, Ty Floyd, was it against Florida a couple of years ago where he struck out 16 or 17, and like that was a lineup. It was that College World Series. I don't remember if it was against Florida or if it was against somebody else. If it's against Florida, like if you're mowing through that lineup with Cags in Langford, then that was a feat. But I still think what Gage Wood did today is going to be hard to beat for the top spot.
I mean, this is going to be one of those games where, like, many years and decades down the road, people are going to be talking about this for a long time, not just Arkansas fans.
Jay's being low-key taunted in the chat.
I was born in 1970, friends.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a. I don't know that you'll ever see a better performance in college baseball. I don't know that we'll ever see as long as we live. You might have some that are in the discussion, but I don't know what can beat that. And you could say Murray State, but again, they're averaging 10 runs a game in the tournament.
Jeez, were they really?
Hit UCLA a little bit too.
Yeah, watching that no-hitter was more exciting than watching high-scoring games. That's how I feel too. Like, it's just different when you have a stud on the mound.
Well, it makes every dude who reaches first base matter.
Yeah.
I wish we got more of this. I'm just sick of 10 home run games. That to me is not baseball. It's slow pitch softball. Yeah. I don't know what's going on because the ball got out of the yard a lot more last year. Did they change the balls? Are the bat checks more aggressive? Is it? I think people have said the wind's not been as big a factor. So you tell me. I mean, because these teams hit home runs too. How many home runs? It's 5. Through 6 games.
Three of them were yesterday.
What was this?
Was that when I was talking about Dylan DeLucia?
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, tell me who was the Ty Floyd game against? I remember that happened in Omaha 2 years ago, but I don't remember who they were playing.
Who was the what game against?
When Ty Floyd struck out like 16.
I don't know. Let's look it up.
We got a bunch of folks saying
Cheddar
Florida.
says Florida. See that I mean, against that Florida lineup, there were some dudes on that team.
He struck out 17 in a 4-3 win.
Okay, well, he gave up 3, so it wasn't as impressive. But that, I mean, like when you're saying, name me impressive recent performances, that's up there. I think Kumar Rocker threw one against Michigan a few years back. Wasn't that spectacular? To me, I don't know what you can name that is going to be what we saw today.
Yeah. Oh, my bad, LA Mom. She was talking about how I would rather see a no-hitter or a great pitching performance in a high-scoring game. I mean, I would.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from a broadcast point of view. Give me a game that's going to be like 2.5 hours as opposed to those 4-hour marathons.
Concerns about Arkansas. Hey, look, nobody's scoring a lot of runs in this tournament. Eight's your top so far. I still like their lineup as good as anyone's.
Mm-hmm. I think they got the best offense of anybody.
I mean, Aloy was 1-line drive from scoring 2 more today, and then it's probably a little different conversation.
Yeah.
And everyone who had Arkansas minus 4.5 is completely aware of that.
Hey, how about that kid for Murray that started today? They said he threw an inning and 2/3 last year at Troy, if I heard that correctly.
That's incredible, if that's accurate. Luke read it in the chat. So Chris and I dove into this about the other Aloy brother. He really hadn't been all that bad. He's got 1 hit in 5 of the last 6 games.
He just hasn't had a big game.
Yeah. Now he just had the stretch against Tennessee and against Ole Miss and Hoover, where he went 0 for 10. Other than that, he's been good.
Eric says he'd rather play Braswell than Reeves at third because Braswell's better defensively. Yeah, I mean, he was a shortstop, but at South Carolina his first 2 years, and I think played some short for LSU last year. I think he was their starting shortstop. I mean, that's the thing. You've got enough other bats that you should be okay. Now, Jones has got to show up and Fry's got to bust out of his slump, but they're more than capable to where you can house him in your lineup, hit him 9, and left side infield defense.
We're saying Tiger Droppings already has the LSU starting lineup tonight. How about that? Somebody's got to get a connection.
Reeves has been playing a lot more lately, and he didn't play much at all in the regular season. Yeah, that's right. Arkansas did have 10 hits today.
Mm-hmm.
Have we run our course here?
Yeah, I gotta treat some potatoes I'm gonna bake, and I mean, if anybody wants to stick around for cooking tips, I'm happy to, but I think everybody wants to get to LSU.
Yeah, that'll start here in about an hour and 20 minutes, and we'll be here tonight. We'll plan to start around 9. Probably depends on how the game's going. Could be earlier, could be later. Probably won't be later. If it's still going, we'll probably just hop on at 9. So, yeah, either way, hope you guys will join us for that. And
Jay, you want to give them an update on what's on the menu tonight?
Yeah, I was about to add it to Luke Reddick just asked about it. I've been working on the marinade for my flank steak. Gonna do stewed squash, bake a couple of potatoes. My favorite recipe for a mushroom kind of gravy to add to it, and of course homemade stick bread.
how often do you cook like this?
Just about every day, unless we've got practice, or if we're either doing this or we're doing something. Because over in the corner, we get blessed from Signal Mountain Farms. Hey, Eric, my marinade is based on olive oil, so I'm completely agreeing with you. It's olive oil, some balsamic vinegar, salt and pepper. It's important to add a little garlic powder and a little bit of onion powder, and that way it gives the taste. But there are some people who don't like onion as you cook it. So, and then especially with flank steak, you coat it with salt and pepper before you put it on a very hot grill.
Where'd you get your cooking skills?
GBO Kyle Beach. You have completely shared it, and I will go a step further. While you're cooking the mushrooms in Dale sauce, add a big helping of sour cream. It gives it a less salty taste and a little more of a gravy feel.
I'm not a big Dale's guy either, but there are people that swear by it.
I don't know. I guess I'm indifferent.
Yeah.
Maybe it's got to be on the right food. I'll eat it. Yeah.
Where did you get your cooking skills, Jay? Like, did you just teach yourself? Or
side story time. My grandmother, in 1988, the Winter Olympics were in Calgary, and they wanted to have a cooking booth from all the genres around the world. And my grandmother, Nanny Greason, who lived down the street, where I grew up from in Smyrna, won the Southern Baptist Regional Cook-Off. You had to cook 3 things: fried chicken, green beans, mashed potatoes, and whatever bread you wanted to make. And she won the whole thing. So she was invited to go cook, to be the Southern cooking representative in the Calgary Olympics. Now, the Southern Jewish Federation protested that, so they became a hubbub, and maybe it was the first example of everybody being included. I don't know, but I got it from her, and I really developed my cooking when Dad got sick, and I moved to his house the last 6 months of his life, taking him and had to cook for him every day. Just wanted to do something, wanted to give him respect. So I knew it really took a turn, and it's not funny, but since then, my wife's been blessed to get a whole bunch of big time national photojournalism assignments and embrace cooking for our kids.
Nice. Yeah, I'm suddenly hungry. Very.
I think everybody is.
Lots more than when we started. Okay. Hey, thank you guys for joining us. If you get a chance, do a few things to do us a favor. Visit our sponsors. We mentioned GameTime Sidekicks. GameTimeSidekicks.com. SE16 gets you 10% off your order. Most of you are watching us on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't. Costs you nothing. Enable your notifications if you want to know when we have content out. And our podcast platforms, audio only. We've got a version of the show there, most everywhere that you can get a podcast. So Apple in particular, leave us a rating and a kind word if you don't mind. And yeah, just tell a friend. And the membership tier, I put the link at the very, very top in the comments. That is probably long gone off your screen. I know it would be. But $4 a month. It's a way to help the channel. And we do have some members only content once or twice a month. And that's been fun so far. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming. We're banging around the idea about doing some stuff around movies. Haven't quite gotten there yet, but we might. Lots of baseball coverage to come. We'll have remaining coverage of all the SEC in Omaha. We're going to do some stuff on the draft and the portal and rosters once all that's done. And of course, we got football stuff going now. We got basketball stuff going constantly. So we're your home for SEC football, men's basketball, and baseball. And thank you for being here. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Eat well. We'll see you tonight after LSU and UCLA, or towards the end of it. So hope you'll join us then.